Guys, first of all, thank you for coming. Let me introduce Professor Pilar Calvo. She's coming from the north of Spain. She's visiting as Erasmus faculty, and she will be delivering 2 talks today. The first one is Engineering Like a Girl, and then the second one at 4 p.m. It's related to design in electronics. Probably you have a different group of people coming. So without delaying any further, just let you do
the So thank you for coming. The first talk is Engineer like a girl, because there is a famous lemma that says fight like a girl. So I thought I could change the fight with the engineer. Somehow analyze the difference between it cannot be said only one gender or the other one. I say in the abstract. This one can be applied to whatever gender. It depends on every person. Okay, so first, a short introduction of my university. I come from the University of the Basque Country. We are in the middle between Spain and France. There in the corner, there's the Basque Country. We have 3 campuses in Bilbao, San Sebastián, and Vitoria. The numbers there, those are the faculties in engineering. We have in San Sebastián, we have 3, well, in Guipúzcoa, we have 3 faculties of different types of engineering, and other 3 that are private, because we are a public university. In Bilbao, there are 2 faculties in the public university and 1 more faculty in a private university. In Vitoria, there is another one. It's not in the map because it's in Navarra, there is another faculty, and in the French part there is another faculty. So that's, I lost the number, is 3, 6, 9, 10 instead of 12 faculties. This is to say that we do manufacturing engineers, and we do manufacture a lot of engineers. That's because the industrial background is very strong. Okay, so the basic economy is this number, I don't know how to pronounce. It's a very long number. So over 300,000 professionals they have studied in the University of the Basque Country. And we have 70 degrees, 65 PhD programs, and 120 masters. So I'm coming from the Faculty of Computer Science, which is in San Sebastián. The origins were in 1971, where the computer science study were still with different names, and it was one of the 3 first faculties in Spain to teach computer science studies in 1976. So nowadays we have 2 bachelor degrees, which is in computer science and artificial intelligence, which is new, is starting this year, and 3 master degrees. One is in embedded systems engineering, another one is in computational engineering and intelligent systems, and the last one is language analysis and processing. So this was the short presentation. Then here is my experience since 2003, which is 70 years. The last 8 years it has been at the University of the Basque Country, here in the Faculty of Computer Science. But before I was in the Faculty of Engineering of Guipúzcoa. Which I say is crossing the street. So we have a lot of faculties of engineering, and we all have a lot of students. It's because those students are required by the companies. Okay. And before that, I was 9 years working in private companies. One was IKOR Systems, which is going to be a sort of the theme or the second talk. And I was also in a research center doing my PhD. So we go now to the talk that is women in engineering. The motivation of the talk is that there is a shortage of engineers overall. It's not only for women. Here there are some sentences of the one report of the Association of Spanish Deans saying that students enrolled in STIM degrees are only 24% of the total, and in the last 20 years it has dropped by 30%. They are very worried because they say without engineers or other scientists, we will stay out of Revolution 4.0, and it happened in other times in history, and we'll be technologically dependent. They also say why this fall in STIMs, and they point some things in different areas, and one of the areas they point to is that women have a lower tendency to study scientific degrees. As women are 55% of students in universities, it should be in scientific degrees 50-50 more or less, but they only choose 32% of the technical studies. So that's why there's also less students choosing STIM, because there are less women. The women who should be there are somewhere else at the university. They are also worried because they say that these degrees, they have the best salaries and employment rates, and if they don't go into there, the salary and the employment gaps are going to be widened. It's going to be bigger. This is not only, of course, in Spain. Here is here we have some data from Eurostat. This data is from 2016. This in the European Union. There were 60% men and 40% women, which sounds like sort of balance. It's like, it's not half and half, but it's almost. But the problem is that they realized that it was in manufacturing services, for example, there were 83% men and it's more or less 70% women. Okay, so that 60-40 comes from other services that are not as technical as, for example, the manufacturing industry. There is also a difference between the countries. There are some countries with more women in engineering, but here are in Lithuania, Bulgaria and Latvia. There are more women than men in engineering. And there are some countries where there are much less women. In Luxembourg, Finland, Hungary, Austria and Germany. So we can see that mostly in the east there are more women, and well, Hungary is there, but mostly in the north and west there are less women. So there is also happening there also with the countries. It's not only here in Spain. And you can see that depending on the geographical situation, it changed a lot. It's from all women to 25% in Luxembourg. This also happens in the USA. The USA is worse. The workforce, according to a study from the Society of Women Engineers, the USA, it was only 13% of women in engineering. And the study went further, and they said that only 30% of women who earned a bachelor's degree in engineering are still working in engineering 20 years later. It means that they go and work somewhere else or do something else, but they drop engineering. They highlight some points. One of them is that female engineers earn 10% less than male engineers, like this is an average. And 61% of women engineers report that they have to prove themselves repeatedly to get the same level of respect and recognition as their male colleagues. So we sort of, they get tired because they have to prove more and they are earning less money. This is also said by was in a letter of the president of the Institution of Professional Engineers of New Zealand. He pointed out the same, that the problem is not is also attracting women, but also how to make them to stay in engineering, because they have an alarming drop rate. Okay, so till now here is the data that is clear that it's something that is happening worldwide. It's not only here. From this point on, it's sort of it's my point of view. It's my personal opinion. If you don't agree, but anybody can have their opinion, or you can discuss, or we will have different point of views. Okay, so we are different. Well, that's quite obvious. That being a woman is different from being a man. It's not only in engineering. It's anywhere else. It's not better or worse. It's just different. Okay, so that's for it not to be too serious, because it is like very serious. Like there are no weak in engineering. They are dropping. Like we can start with physiology. Physiology means we are physiologically different. We can point at, for example, temperature and working space. Okay, in temperature, when a woman's core temperature drops a little bit, the majority of the blocks goes to the core. So we have the feet and hands freezing. That's why we are always cold. This is a lot of times a problem, because if some men in suits or stronger clothes is controlling the thermostat, where you're going to be very cold if you are a woman, probably. So it's something like, it seems like it doesn't have any importance, but it has, because for example, I did have a co-worker who opened the window when there was 4 degrees outside, because it was hot, and you say, okay, but it's 4 degrees outside, so you could open the door that is to the building and not to the street. But you have to think of that. It's not something, if you don't think of that, you can be comfortable in your working space. More things with your working space are, for example, that working space are usually inadequate for people who are bigger or smaller. That's why I say this can be applied to all the genders, because depending on who you are, maybe you are smaller or maybe you are bigger, and you have to ask for something, for a new chair, or you have to ask for a monitor stand. So, because otherwise you can have neck, back, other pains. I didn't have carpal when I started, because again, it's something you don't think of, and I didn't know, so I started working, and after some months you start having problems. Then we have some stereotypes. Okay, stereotypes is the secretary. You are a woman, you're going to somewhere, especially in companies, and immediately you are the secretary. Okay, well, people in human resources are very smart. Sometimes they know that, and they can use that. For example, I did have a colleague that was a woman. She's older than me. He's like 10 years. By the way, I'm 40, so it was quite local. And when she did finish the degree, one of her friends, she wanted to work in the sales department. She liked that. And she was not getting a job in the sales department, because everyone was telling her, but there are men coming to purchase things, so we cannot put a woman in the sales department. So finally she got a job in a very good company, but in the purchasing department. And she got a male assistant. So she went to the meetings, and immediately the sales people, they were talking at the mail, all the meeting. And then when they finished, she started speaking, because she was the boss, and they realized she was the boss. So they were really shocked, and they were saying, okay, we did really wrong. If we don't do a good offer, it's probably going to be no. So, but there is the stereotype. Maybe like these people from human resources, you can use the stereotype to take advantage of it. But usually stereotypes are going to be used to underestimate your job. To say you will be prejudged by your aspect, and because of this stereotype. And also again, this doesn't apply only to women, because there is such a thing that is called ageism, or I don't know how to pronounce it very well, ageism or something like that. It's sort of a strange term that is not very well known, but it means, like machismo and racism, it means that you are prejudged prejudged by your age. Okay, so this can also apply to male. But ageism means that it's like the good age to be is the middle age. So you are younger or you are older, you are not to be taken into account. So it happens, for example, it's very clear to children that they are not to be here by some people, and to elder people. Okay, so that's why this can be applied also to all the genders, because if they look very young, for example, I know I look very young, and everybody thinks I'm doing my Ph.D. and I finished my Ph.D. like 13 years ago. Okay, so they prejudge you, and you really see some people is not taking into account what you are saying or what you're doing just because you don't have the right age. Okay? But this applies to both sides. This applies to young people and to older people. But in the work space, it's more to young people. Okay? Then we have language that here is the same. It depends on the person. If a person is not used to saying no, in engineering, this is a very bad thing because it's a very competitive field. It's probably going to left a lot of problems. We may not see the need for verbalizing our work or our success because we just do our work and it's supposed to be evaluated properly by someone there. But usually there is more people than maybe they are doing less, but they are telling more, so they are getting like more recognition. We have already spoken about the salary gap. The gender pay gap is the average between the wage for women and men for working in similar tasks. We have seen that the salaries of women are generally lower than of men. Well, this still in private companies, this salary of women is better than, for example, the women that are working in administration tasks. So even if you are going to be paid a lower salary, it's better to be an engineer than to be working at the administration department. And then there is I think it's the last thing, is the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling, those are the difficulties or impossibilities to network in a historically male field. The networking is done between people that use similar to you. So there is something that is called rapport, and so the males, they tend to do more rapport between themselves. This happens more in private companies than in public companies. So the glass ceiling is not because you can't work and you can't be effort, but sometimes another one gets maybe the promotion because he's friend of someone else and they have some network, and you are not allowed somehow in that network because you don't have that rapport with men. It's like you are not behaving the same way. Okay. So it's not going to be everything bad, everything we cannot do anything, and we have to live like that. That 60% or that says that they are not in no condition. We can see also some benefits. We may think of some benefits of being a female, or that we have said depends on the person. That's really a person with these qualities. With these qualities, you can have also some benefits. But for example, women aren't seen as a threat, and you may get more cooperation with men than they would give to other men because they may be competing between themselves. You are not in the competition somehow, so maybe you get help because they don't see you are going to, for example, you are not going to get the promotion because they know they are friends of I don't know who, so they help you in the job you are doing. Another thing is that you are remembered because if there is a meeting with a lot of men, if you are the only woman or there are only one or two women, everyone is going to remember you. It happens to me a lot also that I go to the meetings and then in another meeting someone comes I don't remember this person because there were so many men and I cannot remember names and faces, but they remember me. So sometimes I sort of embarrassed because I can't remember people. But it's true that they remember you more than other people. So in private companies, for example, this can be very good because they're going to remember you and your company. This means also that you're going to be more exposed. That meaning your mistakes will be more visible, but suppose that your successes will be more visible as well. But everyone is going to see what you are doing, whatever you are doing. And anyway, we have seen that there is a lack of workforce in engineering. So if you enter the job market, again, if you are whatever gender you are going to have a job. Yeah, because there is a shortage of engineers. So it happened the same in the Second World War, where women entered the job market because there was a lack of workforce. It's happening the same now. Okay, there is a lack of workforce. If you're an engineer, it doesn't matter what you are, you're probably going to get a job. Maybe you cannot choose the job, but you're going to get a job. And finally, we are going to have here summing up tips or things that could help women in engineering, or again, people with some qualities like the ones, to improve in the career and to understand how this world works. Okay, the first one is not to change who you are to fit, because we have seen that we all have some types of qualities. So you have to solve the problems the way you are. So this also means that don't try to change others. If they are doing things in a way, you have to accept it's the way they work, and you have to manage your way to do your job there. But you cannot say to the other one to change. Each one will solve the problems the way they are, or the way they can. Okay. Another one is also happen to people who take a lot of responsibility. If you are tell something, you start thinking, oh, I have done this, I have done the other one. It's like you don't have to take it personally, because they just make like manners or diplomacy, or they don't have a bad day. But this happens a lot also. Is they just may want to achieve something for themselves or for their network. Okay, so they don't have anything against you. It's just that you are probably just in the middle. You're in the middle. They want to get something. They have to take your part from there. So that's when they start. They may start saying things about you. Okay. So if they say something with this idea of the person in the middle, the first thing is we have to think if we are doing something properly or we are doing something wrong. We can think that. If we are doing something wrong, we have to accept it and to correct the thing, because it's the better way to solve problems, to correct it as soon as possible. But if we are not doing it wrong, here is the language part. This is the speaker part. You have to say that you are not doing wrong, and that they are probably saying that for another reason. Okay. Also, we have to learn to say no when necessary. And what happens with this thing that I have seen is the most common. Like you are in the middle, and maybe they want a position for someone else, something like that. You have to measure your job performance, because we have said that we are not used to tell people what we have done well, and that the stereotypes are going to be used to underestimate our job. Okay, so we need to objectively measure our results. That means that when someone is trying to say things about us, because we are in the middle, we have analyzed it and we have talked with people and we know what's happening, then it's always good to go under external assessment. Nobody can discuss, because you are going to have the proof that they are doing that because of other reasons. You can put here, for example, when I was taking some French lessons, the teacher was asking, do you want to take science? And I said, oh, I don't want to because I just learning French for fun, so I don't want to. But there was a girl that was working for a train company there. The train company, the Basque Country is very close to the French border, so the line ends in the French part. So there was a promotion, and they were doing interviews inside the company. I think more or less at the end or something, it was her and the male, and they were asked, do you know French? And the male said, yeah, I know French. And she said, oh, a little bit. Okay. So and they gave the promotion to him because he knew French. And she said, but he doesn't know French. He doesn't know French. I have seen speaking with people, and I know more than him. But he said, I know, and he said, I know a little bit. Okay. So if you have external evaluation, you're going to be able to say, I have this level, he will have the evaluation. So they cannot say anything about your level of French or whatever you are assessing for a promotion. Okay. Here we are finishing, more or less, is the career path and the self-knowledge. We have to think about our career path because a lot of times we don't. We just go where we get a job. Okay. So it would be good, even if sometimes we cannot get the job we want, or we have to wait, to plan a career path and have the courage to go for new roles, okay, and to change, because some people don't want to change. And to make things happen. If you want something to happen, you have to be proactive, but it's a way to improve yourself. Okay. You also have to know your worth in the engineering field, and if necessary, ask for a pay raise, because usually, I was working in a private company. Usually, man engineers, they ask for pay raises, but women engineers, they don't. Okay, so that's also a big part of the fault that of this wage gap. Okay, because they are not even asking. So if you are not asking for anything, the company are not giving to you anything. And I think the last one is like anything is possible. You have to be confident at work, and if someone tells you you cannot do something, you have to think you can do it, because the responsibility to do something is yours and it's not of anyone else. Okay. So it was this was the last one.